Hello, everyone. Keeping in line with the current theme of the FIFA World Cup, I decided to make another sports themed automation. In this case, it's going to be a chatbot. And this is something that I think a lot of bars and restaurants could benefit from, or any other establishment that, is going to play some games. And even though I am making this for the World Cup, this is actually kind of an agnostic setup. You can do this with any sport. You can use this with football, basketball, rugby, what have you, as long as you follow the pattern. So for this particular case, for example, I decided to keep it simple and simply list the matches on a Google Sheet. I could have gone for something more robust like a super base table or whatnot, but I decided to keep this as small business friendly as possible, or even friendly for the non-tech savvy. So I decided to just keep it simple and just keep all of the match information on a Google Sheet, just in a spreadsheet. And you can see this is a very simple setup: a date for the game, the time for kickoff, the teams that are playing, and any TV or channel that you may want to list. Uh, you know, so this is pretty much what you're gonna need, and this will be like the source of truth. And you can just simply add all of the games right on here, and the chatbot that we're going to make is going to be reading uh, all of the data from this spreadsheet. And the way it's going to do that, well, first of all, we're going to be using once again, we're going to be using a bot press chatbot. Only because I like how we're able to organize the conversations and how easy it is to connect to other platforms. So actually, for this example, we are going to be using WhatsApp. So we're going to create this chatbot, and we're going to have it manage conversations through WhatsApp. But one of the cool things about BotPress is that it can also you can also connect it to other platforms. It could be Telegram, it could be Facebook, Instagram, or you can even embed it on a website. So that's really, really cool. BotPress isn't really a sponsor, just to be clear, but it is simply a platform that I personally love to use, because you can just make some really, really good chat bots with it. All right, so first of all, I am going to give you a demo for a few different scenarios. But first, I kind of just want to, give you a quick overview of the setup. So let me show you right here. The way it starts is, the conversation starts right over here. And then it's going to take the info from the user. It's going to ask, the user could ask about the any dates, for any games, any dates. He may even ask for he or she may ask for a specific game for a date, like, are you going to show the Argentina match on Friday, etc. So, we're going to take all of that information, and we're actually going to use the assistance of AI, and we're going to have it extract all of the necessary details, such as the team, the date, and we are going to have the AI infer what are the intentions behind the questions, so to be able to better channel it through each path, so the chatbot can manage the conversation accordingly. So in here you can have either a schedule lookup when the user is asking about a specific game, a specific team, general hours, for could be the venue hours, or for when the games are being shown, when the games are going to be played. Unclear for this is for anything that could be just any general sports related question, but it may not fit on any of the previous categories. And the other one is off topic. This is just a simple fallback for anybody that may want to message the chatbot for any questions that aren't related to sports. Like, say, for example, somebody wants to message your bar and asks, if there's any discounts going on, or ladies' nights, or if somebody messages your restaurant and wants to know if you have a vegetarian menu, etc. So this is just a little fallback option that we created to handle that. All right. So you can see here. So these are the possible 4 scenarios. Specific match. Somebody asks for a specific team or teams on a certain day. Then there's the full lineup, which is going to show all of the games for a specified date. Fallback. That's actually for, as I said, any sports related questions in general, and off topic, well, for off topic. So for the first 3 options, for a specific game, we're gonna go ahead and create a node to get the game, and this is gonna pull the spreadsheet info from Google Sheets. Now the way it's gonna do that, and actually before I continue, I'm gonna show you how that is set up, because that we need this before we actually set the chatbot together. All right, so we have your spreadsheet showing your schedule for your matches, right? That you're going to be showing on your business, and we need to pull this info so that the chatbot can provide this information to the users, right? And the way we're going to do that is we're going to be using what's called a Google Apps script. All right, so you go to extensions on Google Sheets, and then you're going to click on App Script, and that's going to open a screen like this one. All right, and I already titled this one simply Match Schedule, just like the same title as the sheet, to keep things consistent. And this is where you got to add some code, right? But I'm not going to get into too much detail, because I'm trying to keep this somewhat, friendly, even for those who cannot code. If you cannot code, you can actually have AI do this for you. I recommend Claude. Just tell Claude all of the details, all of the context, and it will help you set up the code, right? And but in a nutshell, what this code does is that it takes all of the data from the spreadsheet, and it creates what's called a JavaScript object, which we will then pass on to the chatbot, so that the chatbot is able to parse and understand the data that's on the spreadsheet, so that it can properly serve these information and these details to the user, right? Now, there are there's some logic added here to take some filters in consideration, because again, if we want to ask for a certain team or a certain date, so what we're going to do is, if somebody's asking for the games for a certain date, which we will send as a parameter to the app script, then it's going to take the spreadsheet info, and it's going to filter out anything that's not of the specified date, and it's going to return only the games for the date that was specified, right? So it's going to have to act as a filter. And so we actually take 3 parameters, one for the team name, so we can only pull any games for a specific team, and another one for a date, which is only for the specified date. You can combine the two, of course, if you want to know what is the game for a specific team on a specific day. Hey, are you going to be playing showing the France game on Sunday, etc. So, and then there's one more, which I decided to add, called the next after. It's somewhere here, yes. And this is kind of a fallback as well, in case that somebody's asking for any game or games on a specific day, and maybe on that day there's no games. So I kind of added this parameter to help the to be able to pull the nearest game at the closest specific future date. Like maybe there's no games being played tomorrow, but maybe on Thursday, on Friday, etc. So that's what we're going to do, because if there are no games, we don't want to just tell them, hey, there's no games today. We may want to be able to tell the user, hey, okay, there's no games tomorrow, but we will be playing our next game on Tuesday or Friday, right? So, yep, that's going to be it. And then once you've prepared your code, we could go ahead and deploy it. And when you do, you want to make sure that you choose web app here. And then just add some description and, just execute as me, who has access, anyone. Just as a little side note here, the most secure way to pull the data from the spreadsheet would be via the API. But that does require a bit more complexity. So in order to keep things simple, especially for small businesses, you can just set up an app script, and we're going to be pulling it as a web app. And then once you deployed it, the Google is going to provide you, and I'm going to show you right here when you go to manage deployments. These are all the different versions. As you make changes, as you improve the code, you can save different versions so you can go back to them or move forward. And once the deployment is made, so you can see here that Google actually provides you with a URL for the web app, which is the actual web address or URL that we're going to be using to pull the data. So this is how the chatbot is going to communicate with the app script. It's going to send a request to that URL, and it's going to send the parameters such as the team name, date, etc. And then it will be that request to this URL that's going to return the data formatted as a JSON object, so that the chatbot can use it, right, to pull the info. Okay, so once that this is set up, then let us go back to the chatbot setup, particularly the conversation flow. So, of course, depending on whether a user is asking for a specific game or a whole bunch of games, we go ahead and make the request, right? And this is where you add the URL for the app script, which is the URL that Google provides you with when you deploy it. And then, of course, you add the parameters. In this case, if you're asking for a specific game, you can add the date or the team, right? And then for that, you create these variables on BotPress, right? So that BotPress is able to store the values that were retrieved so that we can show them to the user. And in the case of get games, well, we are only passing it the date value because, of course, we want to pull all of the games for a specific date, regardless of teams. And then, for this one, for off topic, of course, I'm actually gonna show you this one first because this one's the easiest. As I said, if, say, for example, some user messages the chatbot asking, hey, does this restaurant have a vegetarian menu? It is simply going to display a message that says, I can help with our game schedule. For other questions, feel free to call us at etc. etc. We'll be happy to assist, right? But going back to the main flow of the conversation, so we've pulled the data from the app script. So now we're going to decide how we're going to direct this conversation. Let's say if you get a single result for a day, then we're going to send a message back to the user saying, okay, yes, this game's going to be playing at this time, etc. And this is another thing. This is to show if we get many results, meaning if we get more than one game for a specific date, then again we're going to send a message saying, okay, here are the matches that we're going to be showing on this date. Now, this no results, this is especially for the first scenario. If somebody's asking for a specific date and a specific team, Let's say if somebody's asking about the France game on Sunday, and let's say, okay, maybe there is no France game on Sunday, but there are other games going on, so we still want to return to the customer and say, hey, these are actually the games that we're going to be showing on Sunday, right? So we're actually going to make another request to the app script, this time without a team parameter and just a date parameter. And then it's going to come back with another result. Here are the two scenarios: if it's a rest day, meaning if there are no games at all, or if there are other games other than the one that was requested. If there are other games other than the one that was requested, we're going to show that. Okay, so for this day, these are actually the games that are available. But if we go ahead and retrieve the games for that specific date and there are no games at all, then what we're actually going to do is, if it's a rest day, meaning there's no games going on, we're gonna send another request one third time, this time to look for the nearest date that a game's gonna be shown. So let's say there's not going to be any games on Saturday, so alright, let's see what's the next closest game that will be shown. Okay, so there's going to be a game on Sunday, so alright, there's not going to be any games on Saturday, but the next game will be shown on Sunday, right? And that's if we get any results from that third call. If we don't get any results, let's say, for example, maybe the season is over, or maybe you just have not added the game to the spreadsheet, then we're simply going to send another message that says, no games have been scheduled right now. Stay tuned for our next game day. We'll announce it on our socials. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and give our chatbot a test. And then first of all, I'm going to show you how to connect the chatbot to WhatsApp. And what you do there is you go over here to integrations, and then I already have it here, but just to show you, you click here where it says find more in the hub, and then it's usually, you can just search for it up here, but it's also usually shown just here on the front page, and just click on there, and then you should see a button that says install. There are some extra steps that you have to follow to be able to connect the chatbot to WhatsApp. So I get into detail on that on a couple of videos ago. I'm actually going to link it in the description along with the timestamp, so to show you how to set up BotPress with WhatsApp, right? So anyways, back here, I'm gonna go ahead and get on my WhatsApp, and we're gonna go ahead and test the chatbot. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and ask. So I have two games on July 10th and one on July 12th. July 10th is Friday, July 12th is Sunday. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask, will you show the Argentina game on Friday? And then the chatbot is pulling the info from the Google Sheets, and here we have the response. Yes, Egypt versus Argentina is showing on July 10th at 5 p.m. See you then. Alright, now let's just ask for any games on that day. Will you show any games on Friday? Once again, pulling from Google Sheets, and it says, yeah, here's what we're showing on July 10th. France versus Morocco, Egypt versus Argentina. Okay, now let's say, for example, somebody asks for games on Saturday, July 11th, and there's no game there. So are there any games on Saturday? Once again, it's looking up the info on the spreadsheet, And it says nothing on Saturday, July 11th, but our next game day is July 12th, and we'll be showing Colombia versus Norway. See you then. All right, and finally, yeah, if say for example we only have games until July 12th, let's say I ask for any game after that, are there any games on July the 13th? Once again, it's looking up on the Google Sheet. It's not finding anything, so we should be getting a different response. So let's give it a moment. It says no game scheduled right now. Stay tuned for our next game day. We'll announce it on our socials. Oh yes, and one more scenario, which is anything off topic. So let's say somebody texts the restaurant and asks, do you have a vegetarian menu? I can help with our game schedule. For other questions, feel free to call us. We'll be happy to assist. And that's go. This is a relatively simple, straightforward chatbot you can set up to help you with your business and manage any conversations relating to any sports games that you may be playing. Yeah, so if you need any help with a setup like this, hit me up and I'll be happy to help. I'll be adding a link in the description if anybody wants to talk, wants any assistance with this, and till the next one.